Alright, here is the video review for the Command and Convert Animatronic Optimus Primal. It was the biggest surprise in the promotional package that Hasbro sent my way for Rise of the Beasts. The movie just came out. I haven't seen it yet, but I plan to. It was apparently a #1 movie in the world, or at least #1 movie at the box office last weekend, which is I kind of figured Spider-Man had a chance of keeping the spot for 2 weeks in a row, but people like their Transformers, which is, I mean, clearly, I'm aware. So anyway, I like them too. That's why I'm here. But this came in the promotional box. One of the biggest surprises because, one, it's a fairly expensive and large figure, and also they had just announced it like a week beforehand, so I wasn't expecting it to be in this box. I have not figured out how it works yet. The instructions are very vague. Like, the instructions involve clapping and button pushing and yelling, but in certain bursts of time increments, and I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure there's a video manual somewhere, but I haven't figured it all out yet. Right now he's off because, again, he responds to your voice, and I did it when I'm going nuts in this intro. So we'll see what happens, and we'll turn him on. There is a switch right back here. Optimus Primal Convert. Optimus Primal, turn into a robot. Hey, Optimus Primal, do something. This is a new one. Oh. Well, now he's turned into a robot.
We must never sacrifice our honor.
That's good advice. You can pull him forward a little bit because he's sticking.
Have anything else to say?
Yeah, hi. Optimus Primal Convert.
You have an unusual planet.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. He will kind of cycle through... Yeah, he will cycle through some commands.
What? You were expecting a truck?
Okay, yeah, good call. Like, I don't know if he's on demo mode.
This world is more than meets the eye.
True. Okay, yeah. Can I show off your action features, or are we just going to sit here yapping and moving?
Maximals with me. Beast mode.
Oh. So you kind of get the gist of it. I'm gonna go ahead and, hey, Optimus Primal, turn back into a robot.
Unleash the warrior within.
Kind of a Beast Wars riff. Okay, I'm gonna turn them off again. All right, so you get the idea. His monkey head is just kind of gravity based, so when he flips down, it flows over his robot face. I actually caught him with his missile launchers down. Usually in robot mode, they just pop up and stay up. Manual posability, like his head is even electronically, so you can't even straighten his head up. I don't want to risk popping it off of the mechanism. It would be nice if you could pose him a little bit more in his various modes. The only real options you have that aren't controlled by the electronics are he has bicep swivel and his wrist swivel. So if you want to have him do, you saw him kind of checking his watch a lot. If you want to have his arms do a slightly different and not quite that motion, you have the ability to turn him a little bit. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of options for manual how you want him to display. He's either a gorilla or a robot. In this case, he's kind of stopped halfway in between. But yeah. It seemed we had a little bit more success in actually getting him to, once he was going, of actually getting him to respond. I think if you talk for like 2 seconds, he'll say a phrase, and if he hears noise for 4 seconds, 3 or 4 seconds is when what causes him to transform. It is not the same kind of technology as like the Robosen, where it actually understands what you're saying, where do a dance or do kung fu. Like he's not that responsive. He responds to noise and sound, and will do different things based on the length of that noise and sound. There is apparently a way you can put him into guard mode. Like there was an older toy that could do it too, where he'll just kind of sit there quietly, and then if it hears a noise, it'll be like, "Hey, you, don't intruder," and he'll do something. I don't think it's really a deterrent for a younger sibling, much less anything a more serious intrusion onto your property. But it is there. Accessory, like I said, I get that like having these panels come out to reveal some red makes him look a little less gorilla-esque. But I don't like that when he's in robot mode, his rib cage seems ripped open. Like, I do like the way his legs and his feet are on springs here, and I like the way that they can retract and then have his legs slide down. That little bit of it it's basic, but it's an interesting conversion. The use of the gravity gorilla head is actually when he's not flopping it around, he's actually standing still. When it's retracted all the way back, it does kind of give him like a canopy behind his head, but it's actually a pretty effective auto transformation gimmick between his two modes. Like I said, he kind of froze because I turned him off in between a couple of steps here. He does come with two swords that you can have him hold individually. They do peg together, and it is keyed. It only goes together one way, but you can peg it together through his hand to have him hold a longer staff weapon. Although again, if you do that, you kind of have to make it longer on one end, because the way just where his arms sit, if you put it too much longer, it's going to force the arm up. And if you want that, that's fine. But it will, if you leave it sticking down too far, it will impede some of his auto movement in his animatronic mode when he's on. But if you want to give him, let's see if we can. We'll turn him back on, and we'll see. We'll put him to action holding his swords. And again, you've got the wrist swivel and the bicep swivel to depend. So if he starts banging himself in the face, you can fix it. Anyway, let's turn him back on and see what he does. Yeah, greeting movement.
Greetings. I'm Optimus Primal, leader of the Maximals.
Transform all the way into a robot, please. Oh, I guess maybe you have to push the button before you can give him a command. Transform into a robot, please.
Robotic form should be used sparingly. Beast mode.
Okay, well. There he goes again. Now he's a gorilla. And he's still got his sword, so that's cool. His fist's staying away.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting. You got a sword. Monkey with a sword. Gotta watch out for those. Can you turn back into a robot, please, Optimus Primal?
Bot mode. That's Prime.
Hey. Okay, so I'm starting to figure out the length of time you gotta talk to make him do something.
Maximals, prepare to move out.
Oh, we're going back to gorilla mode. Okay. I mostly focused down on his legs because I wanted to see how they auto-transformed. There at the...
Optimus Primal.
Can you turn him back into a robot? Okay. If I just keep talking, he's just going to keep converting back and forth. But you can see...
Understand.
Is he going to go back down? Can you turn back into a gorilla now so I can show how your feet fold up?
Robotic form should be used sparingly. Beast mode.
There we go. Watch his legs. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to turn him off now. It's very basic, but some of the mechanics are kind of neat for a not Robosen level technology figure. Again, a surprise it was included in the box. It's very neat to check out. I don't know where it's going to stand. Also, one of the benefits over the Robosen is you can turn him off in robot mode, and he can still stand and display in robot mode instead of having to kneel or have all of his servos go limp. I don't know if they fixed that or updated that on any of the versions, although, again, powered servos that they need for that implies that he's probably not going to be able to, or it's just going to run the battery down to have it stand solidly. That's not a conversation for now. We're not talking about him. We're talking about Optimus Primal here, who is a interesting gorilla robot here with some detailing. He's got, it looked like it had several buttons on the back, but there's just this one, and here's his little power switch. He does take, you have to unscrew these, each panel comes off. He takes 4 AA batteries, not included. I forgot to mention in the Beast Mode Bumblebee, he did come with a battery installed. He takes little button cell batteries. So he did come with batteries. He requires 4 AA's, 2 over here and 2 over here. You can kind of even see with the molding, you can kind of tell where those 2 batteries on each side fit. But yeah, it's an interesting toy. It was really funny because you want a solid flat surface to put him on. Carpet, he will fall over. Even with, like I said, we don't have like hard office carpet. We don't have shag carpeting either. We've got normal, what I consider normal carpet. And after a couple of waving his hands around, and we got to use beast mode sparingly, he's like, let's go get the Predacons. And he fell flat on his face. Just flat on his face, and still kept and just was ridiculous on the floor. And we were all giggling quite hard. But yeah, like I said, I think retail on this one is $125, which is pricey. It would be nice. It would be nice if it was a little bit more. For $125, I wish the instructions were a little clearer. Let me put it that way. Don't go into this expecting, like I said, the self-transforming Optimus Prime from Urbosan level of engineering on this. But for what's there, there's some really they did some really neat things. Some of them are problematic in robot mode. Like I said, the gorilla head here that is just kind of gravity based is interesting. But it works. It's effective and it works. He's always got his head in the right thing. It just does lead to that gorilla head flopping around behind his robot head in robot mode. Sometimes depending on how how much motion he's doing at the time. But all in all, pretty fun, interesting little robotic Optimus Primal. And I'm always happy to see Beast Wars getting more attention, more mainstream attention, and more love from Hasbro. So I'm kind of happy that of all the animatronic figures they could have done to do this kind of thing, they went with Primal for it. Obviously, that is more of a Gary Chalk sound-alike than a Ron Perlman sound-alike, who is the voice of Primal in the movie. But I'm okay with that. Like, again, there's some generic, not quite actual Beast Wars riffs that play, and that's kind of neat. It would have been neat if they could have had the license to put some of the actual Beast Mode music in there. But I'll let it slide because it's a cool monkey. I know, Gorilla. It's my video review. I can call him whatever I want. But I don't call him late for... No, I'm not even... No, bye.